What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Off the Couch Boxing. I'm your host, Reckless Rex Ruger. That, of course, watching my back, as always, is the Alexis Arguello puppet, a.k.a. El Flaco Explosivo. We're back with another banger of an episode. This is, of course, the champion of boxing podcast. Undisputed, undefeated. The most amazing and real boxing conversations happen right here on Off the Couch Boxing. Legends, luminaries, champions, and fighters on the rise, all coming here to chop it up with your boy, Reckless Rex. And we got another great one for you today. And my guest is here right now. Sorry, I got stuck there for a minute because I don't know. I was just stuck, but we're going to get my guest in here, man. My apologies, man. I was reading and multitasking. CASSIUS, what's up?
What's up, bro?
I'm in, man.
I'm in. How you doing?
Yeah, I was wondering what the phone number thing was about. I was reading into it thinking, do you want me to send it to your text message it to your actual phone?
Well, no, I clicked the link and then it didn't let me in right away, but now, man.
So how's it going, big guy?
It's going good, man. It's going good. You know, just training and getting ready for this fight, and I'm looking forward to it.
So I want to ask you, because you did bring up that you have a fight coming up March 22nd. It'll be just about 9 months since your last fight, but you've been doing this for so long, man. 37 years old. Do you still worry about like ring rust after a significant layoff?
Yeah, I do actually, but not that much this time because I was just staying ready anyway. It's like I've had a couple fights just canceled out.
Yeah.
That one dude failed his medical, and then the Cusimano situation kind of he didn't want to do drug testing and all that. So it wasn't like I wasn't already training. So just getting this chance helped a lot because I was already in the gym.
Now I'm curious to get your opinion, man. We just saw the great card over in Saudi Arabia last week, and of course, we saw a couple people. You bring up health issues, have to pull out of some fights. One of them was the big heavyweight fight with Dubois and Joseph Parker, which ended up being Martin McCauley and Joseph Parker. We're talking about like layoffs or not being prepared. Does McCauley take that fight, in your opinion, on too short a notice?
Did he? You mean do I think he did?
Yeah. Do you think he did?
Oh yeah.
That's not enough time, right?
It's not enough time, but you gotta remember he got like 600,000 to do it.
Yeah, right.
And you're doing it. And you're saving a card, and you're doing it for somebody that's not like the average. He's not the Sheik isn't like the average promoter.
Right.
He's not even really. He's almost acting like a manager. He just funding everybody, you know what I mean?
Right.
So why not do it? Because you doing him a favor, he's probably gonna bring you back, most likely. But Cody's gonna be back in line, and he also gets the chance to fight FA, and he could win that fight.
Right.
So why not take it? And then you got your money for camp. You don't have to spend money for camp. You don't have to ask your managers for money. It was kind of like a win-win, win-loss-win for him.
Right. And now, obviously, in the last couple of months, Tyson Fury makes headlines by saying he's going to, that his intention is to retire. First of all, you believe that?
He's complex, man. Like sometimes, it's hard to believe a lot of the stuff he says, but at the same time, he's made so much money already that he might be the type that he's good. You know what I'm saying? I'm
just wondering, Cassius, is it hard to go out with 2 consecutive losses and ride off into the sunset, man, or does it stick in your craw that you just want to go out on a high note?
I don't think that matters because he lost to a Hall of Famer. He lost to somebody for once that is like the good guy one of the good guys in boxing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he has a lot of kids, so he wants to spend time with his family.
Yeah.
Those 2 fights probably were fights where he had to stay training over and over. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or, that's tough. That's tough on somebody's body.
Now, because you're a heavyweight, man, and obviously, so much has been made about, when these older guys, i.e., like Tyson Fury, when these guys start to walk away from the heavyweight division, who does the torch get passed to? Who is that bright spot in the heavyweight division? Like last year, there was a lot of talk about Big Baby Anderson, but then we saw Bacoli, knock him out. A lot is being made about this Moses Atama kid. Who do you see as the next guy, to take the heavyweight division, into the future?
It's really difficult to decide that because as you get older in the heavyweight division, some guys will get better. You know
Right,
what I mean?
like Joseph Parker.
Yeah, there's the Parker, Derek Chisora. He's winning. Like you get better because you figure out the stuff that work for you, don't work for you, and you kind of becoming. It's weird to say this, but you were kind of becoming a man in the sense where you're understanding like, yo, this don't work for me. You start speaking up, but I would honestly say I would probably say the Moses Atuma kid, you know what I mean? Right now. I would probably put him as like one of the bright spots is coming through because he's fast, he has quick hands, he's a southpaw. And you might just have to wait to see if he get hit, like how he takes a punch. But other than that, it's hard to say because he could lose and then come back. Look at Dubois. You could lose, and then as a heavyweight, you say, "Oh, this don't work. This works for me," and next thing you know, you're back on the map again. You're a champion. So it's like it's complex. It's a complex thing if you're active. It's all about activity. So Jared Anderson can bounce back because the weird thing is, he looks like they're going to want to keep him active. So it's going to be hard to say he don't have a chance to be 1 and 2, maybe the USA Brit of the US of boxing soon. Those two guys could be lining up to meet each other at some point.
And losing to Bacoli is not a detrimental loss. That's nothing to hang your head about.
No, it's the same. It's almost the same thing, except Jared had time to train for him. But it's like the same thing. You take that chance because you're getting paid $800,000, whatever. So you're getting paid a big amount of money. Who's not going to take it? The whole point is to push yourself to being a world champion, but you're also trying to live comfortably. You don't want to be struggling trying to fight. So I would say that it's the same thing. It's just up to him if he really wants to do it or not, And sometimes it's like his last fight just looked like he could be dealing with stuff that isn't boxing related, what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the hard part. And some people that's around him got to be honest and say that too.
And now, what about you at the age of 37? Because, I look at your career, I look at your record, and I consider you, a very young 37. How you were just talking about older guys in the sport, but almost getting better with age and figuring stuff out. What do you think the future holds for you at 37? Are you taking fights, or is there still a real intention to fight for a world title?
Yeah, I think I'm like a wild card. I know that about myself. I'm like a wild card. It's like one of them things where dang, he can make something happen. I feel like I had this issue with basketball too when I was younger, is that I think I might just overdo it sometimes, and you get I don't, and I told kids this now, like if you feeling something and you're not feeling well or you're not don't do it. You know what I mean? Now I'm not saying if you're making a great amount of money, it's probably hard to not do it. But boxing is one of these sports where especially now with betting and all that stuff, where you got to be right. If you ain't right, you don't go into the ring. So I've grown in that sense to learning that, you got something going on, you need to get it checked. Don't sell yourself for a check. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you live and you learn. I just feel like I've grown from it. I'm in some really, really great shape, and I'm looking forward to getting in the ring in March. I'm just looking forward to it.
Well, I know the number has changed a lot, and because I do work in healthcare and I work in a nursing home, and I do see people, obviously with all the strides they've made in the medical field, people living longer lives, living into their 90s, sometimes even living into their hundreds. So that number has changed, I think, over the years. At 37, do you feel like this is your prime? Like we used to look at an athlete at 37 and say, he's on the other side of the hill, like coming down. But now you mentioned some great names earlier, Chisora. I mean, we're seeing guys, finding that next gear, as they go into the twilight of their career. Maybe it's not the twilight.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I don't really feel like, I don't know, maybe 40 would be my prime. I don't know, because like I feel really good when I'm just consistently working and training, and I'm not worrying about nothing else. You know what I mean? I feel really good. Like I said, though, it's a matter of making sure that you feeling something, go get it checked just to make sure. Don't try to like force yourself through it, all the time. You know what I mean? Like, and you're seeing guys, like I said, like Chisora, you got Brian Jennings still hovering around. He could make some noise. You got all the heavyweights that's in the mix is winning and kind of creeping around are all older.
Yep.
Wilder could knock out Curtis Harper if that fight happens. Whoever he fights next, come back and fight for a title.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's not really. I mean, it's not really that difficult to like to say that. And I haven't taken any damage, so that's another reason why I feel good. Like I think I've been pretty good defensively since I've started boxing, and in that regard, that not to take any unnecessary punches. And I don't know, maybe I don't know. I have to see how this year goes. If I'm able to get like 2 to 3 fights, you know what I'm saying? I think I really, my confidence would be really, really high. Really, really high.
And I'm glad you said, being responsible, on the defensive side of things. What do you think has changed? Obviously there's probably like a lot, but what would be the 1 or 2 glaring things, that you would say about yourself at 37, as opposed to when you were 27 or 28? You know what I mean? Like, where have you come in your boxing journey that, that's been the most important thing that you've learned or picked up over the years?
Oh, I would say the biggest thing would be not being passive. Like speaking up and saying, "Look, man, this don't work for me. I'm not a little guy." Like sometimes people look at me and they see my athletic ability and they just say, "Oh, you can do this," but sometimes it's not comfortable for me to do it, because it's not something that I've always just kept drilling or training, and I don't feel comfortable doing certain things, even though it looked like I could do it. You know what I mean? Or I might do it naturally. Sometimes it's just flowing. And so I would say, like, not being so passive and just saying, "Oh yeah, I'll go lift this." Like it don't work. If it don't work, it don't work. You know what I mean? Like running 8 miles or something. I don't like the way I feel after running 8 miles. I don't like the way I feel versus short, long distance running and mixing it up. I feel like it translates better for me in boxing. But little stuff like that, I think, is what great champions had early, but they started boxing earlier too. The Klitschko brothers, Lennox Lewis, Holyfield, they all were super strong-minded, but we caught them at that great stage. But they were boxing. They were boxing before I started. So by the time they became pros and they started understanding themselves, they got it sooner than I did, because I started later than them in boxing. So now that I'm getting it, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's what you're supposed to tell them. You're supposed to say no. You're supposed to say yeah. You're supposed to say yeah. You're supposed to be on your trainer, and too, like your trainer's on you, you're supposed to be on them. Y'all supposed to be on each other. You're supposed to push each other. So that's the difference that I've gotten now that I didn't have before.
And what was your journey to boxing like, man? Like, how did you fall in love with the sport and fall into it, man? Because you said you started on the late side.
Yeah, I started boxing late, but I was always a fan of it. I played basketball, and then at like 22, I was like, man, I know I'd be a good boxer. I just know that I'm supposed to do it. It's like
Yeah.
Like I grew up fighting all the time. I've only really liked fighting movies, but I'm so happy that I never got pushed to the gym as a kid because, you know, I had two brothers. I've been trying all my moves on them. You know,
Right.
my cousins,
Right.
my cousins, everybody.
Yeah.
So I'm happy that, you know, I took it on when I was ready to take it on, and I took it serious. And I think that I've done a great job at kind of just being consistent, even though I've gone through little ups and downs with it. Um, my ups and downs, I look at and I think they could have been worse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Could have
Yeah.
been worse. It could have been like that split decision against George Arias. Could have been a UD, or it could have been a knockout situation. It could have been worse. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
It's been guys that been boxing all their lives that go through similar things and they don't know how to deal with them. So I've been lucky to kind of weed my way through and deal with it and say, all right, cool. I know what not to do next time, or I know
And
what to do next time.
And when you go into a gym at 22 years old, do you get resistance? Do you get people telling you, "Hey, kid, you're a little behind the curve here"? Usually, guys are getting in the ring at 6, 7, 8 years old. Or did you find like a good team that said, "Hey, you know, you're starting this like a little later than most people, man, but you know, we'll help you, man. Like, you can do this."
Nah, it was, you know what? I've been lucky because every gym I went into, I haven't been in a gym or with a trainer really that gave me that the first part. They've
Yeah.
always kind of like, oh, I think part of it is my size, my build, and like my name,
Yeah.
my first name.
Yeah.
But a big part of it is like technically, I mean, I know it's not boxing, but technically I kind of been like a professional athlete since I've been playing basketball. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I've
Yeah.
always, you know, you play college basketball. I was, you know, I didn't have like the regular college experience. Only thing I did was play basketball and went to class. I didn't party and nothing like that. So
Right. Right.
once I got finished college, I was like, all right, you know, I could transition to this because I'm not worrying about the extra activities of what other people were doing in school. You know, I
Right.
was kind of straight edge, you know, but it wasn't any like pushback. Everybody was kind of like, "Oh man, that's," you know, because I was already kind of known for basketball and being an athlete here.
Right. Right.
When I started boxing, it was just more so, all right, we got to see first, that type of thing.
And then now recently, the WBA had made comments alluding to the fact that they were kicking around the idea of, you know, possibly starting with championship fights or fights for undisputed, flirting with the idea of going back to 15-round fights. Where do you stand on that?
That's cool if guys agree to it. I think
Yeah.
both guys got to agree to it, but it's hard to say because, like, I mean, boxing has been boxing. Um, And if you want to put on an extra round to see like if a guy wins, why not just do 13?
Right. Right.
Like if it's a draw,
Right.
why not put draw right at 12 and then say one more round, like the overtime thing.
Right.
There's one more round. That
Yeah.
makes more sense, but it's so corrupt and it's so crazy because like you want to put on 15 rounds, but why not just do 13 and then cut out the corruption stuff altogether and
Right.
just fair? Because if it's 6-6, why not just do one more round and just get it over with?
That's a great idea. Yeah, you're the first person I've heard actually say that idea. But you're right. That's like your tiebreaker round. If
Yeah,
each guy's won 6 rounds up to that point, there's your tiebreaker. You
yeah,
know.
it makes all the sense. Like boom, tiebreaker. If that's what you're trying to do, because 15 rounds, I mean, what's 15 rounds? I don't understand what you need to go three
Right.
more rounds for. No.
Right. And now, when you say corruption, man, like obviously, like I know you're alluding to the fact that we do still see some real crummy scorecards turned in, man. As a big guy who does have pop and does have knockout power, man, you know, is it in the back of your mind during fights about not wanting it to go to the scorecards? You know what I mean? You know, because we can obviously see that a bad scorecard turned in, you know, can derail your career. For God's sake, Oshaki Foster last year, man, fucking almost pitched a shutout and they took his fucking belt right off of him. You know what I mean? I mean, absolutely robbery.
Yeah, that's a good question, man. You know what? It's like having a bad referee in basketball. We all
Yeah.
know that we see the eye test, but we ignore it.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? It's like
Yeah.
we just
Yeah.
legit just like ignore the common sense sometimes. Football too, we just ignore it. It's like common sense. But I just think with boxing, guys putting their lives on the line, was getting a check. Um, I just feel like, yeah, they could fix it. They could have been fixed it. The Sheik, really, that's something he really could have put his foot on and fixed.
Yeah.
Like right away, he could have fixed it. But you see that it's possible that, hey, look, man, you could get robbed over there too. You know
Oh
what I
yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Adamus just beat Hamza, and that was he beat him, and in some way somehow he gets away with a draw.
Well, there was that. Well, there's that, and I also don't know if you saw the story, but at some point, fucking Turkey was yelling to Hamza that he was down by 2 rounds on the scorecards, and there's a big to do going on about that because he was yelling at it to him in another language. Now, I don't know if Turkey Al Sheikh is guessing that he's down, but he was saying, and it was translated, "Hey, you're down by 2 rounds on the scorecards right now." Now, I don't know if it's fair if he finds that out and relays that information. I suppose you could be in your corner, and your cornerman or your trainer could say, "Hey, I think you're down by 2 rounds in this fight." You know what I mean? But I don't know from ringside him yelling it if that's a good look.
Yeah. So for me, I understand why he's doing it, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's like they Muslims,
Sure.
so they probably close, but at the same time, I mean, I feel like it's the fact that he's the one doing it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And he's paying everybody, and that's the situation. But even when he was saying, I think I saw that on the thing that he told him that he was down. He still lost the rounds that was going
Yeah.
forward. You know, he
Yeah.
still lost
Yeah.
1 or 2 of those
Yeah.
rounds. So,
And of course, that could be his opinion. He's entitled to yell out his opinion. I mean, I
yeah.
could be in the audience at your fight and say, "Hey, you need a knockout. I think you're down a couple rounds." You know what I mean? But it sounded like the way he said it and the way it's being worded in boxing stories is that he was sure and like actually knew the score or went and laid eyes on the cards or whatever. I don't even know how that's even possible. But
yeah, I heard that too. That he look. That's how I see it. If you're a judge, right? Say you're an American judge or you're whatever judge.
yeah,
You're a judge. It's just you're judging boxing. You know what I mean? It's not
right.
like you're a real. That's what they call you. You're a judge. But if you go over there, right, to Saudi, and he says he wants to see the card, you're probably gonna show him that.
Of course, yeah. He's putting on this. He's putting on this whole damn event. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, you're probably gonna let him know. I'm sure Eddie Hearn has done it, but all them guys have done it because at the end of the day, he don't have to call you back there again and
right.
have you officiating his fights. You know, so I'm sure he pays the judges some good money.
Yeah.
You know, to even go over there. That's a long trip to go over there. So I'm sure they're taken care of. You know.
But ultimately, though, there is a lot of good things happening with Turkey Al Sheikh being involved in the boxing, though. You know what I mean? It is nice that he's able to, in a very short time, bring us a card like last week that boxing fans always want: evenly matched fights, world title fights, a low pay-per-view price. You couldn't beat the price of that pay-per-view, $25.99.
Yeah.
I mean, crazy.
But think about this. Let me tell you something that I'm looking forward to. Right, while everybody else is trying to get over there to fight in Saudi, right?
Right.
I thought about this. I said, damn, this might be the perfect time. Might be perfect time for me to conquer here, right?
Yeah.
To do my thing here, because if you do your thing, he'll call you.
Yeah.
If he see that you're doing your thing, you getting a couple fights, you're winning, you're chilling, you're gonna get a call. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you'll get the opportunity. So I see all the good that he's doing, but I looked at it and I said, you know what? Why do I don't have to jump on the bandwagon and be somebody that's like, oh, I need to get to Saudi. I need to get to Saudi. You know what I mean? Like, why not just do my thing here, build my profile here even more, and then I get the call. If I get a chance, I do think Huey Fury is in my sights. I get a chance to get him. That's a good fight for me. You know what I mean? So it's opportunities out there. I just think like a lot of us, we got to figure out like, hey, look, conquer your area, conquer your place,
Yeah.
and then you could get that call and get that opportunity and be ready for it. You
Yeah,
know.
because he does notice. He does notice because that kid Josh Padley, who stepped in against Shakur Stevenson, man, he had beat at the end of last year at 135. He had beaten a guy named Mark Chamberlain, who Turki Al Sheikh has come out and said he's very, very high on. He just likes Mark Chamberlain. So when Josh Padley defeats this guy that Turki Al Sheikh likes, he remembers that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Hey, like this kid put it on a guy that I really like, man. You know what I mean? So now I need a 135 pounder. I'm going to reach out to this kid, you know what I mean? Because he just beat a guy that I like, you know what I mean?
And to take the fight on short notice, you just did the card a favor. You looked out for him.
Yeah.
You looked out for you, and now you don't gotta work you don't gotta work anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Now, when you say that you've got Huey Fury in your sights, I don't know how much you're able to fucking like elaborate. I don't know if this is a fight that you're, you know, that you're trying to bring to fruition, or if this is on down the road. But you know, to drop his name out of all the heavyweights, man, is something brewing?
It could be brewing if they get the finances right. You know what I mean? It's brewing. I mean, it is brewing. I think it's been something that has been kind of aligning for a little bit. You know, I've gone over to help them in sparring and things like that. So I do feel like it's a good fight. I think for me on like a domestic, you know, on paper, it gotta be right though. I'm not, you know, I don't feel like I'm gonna go over there for a low pay when I could technically get it here and don't have to worry about fighting in somebody's backyard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I do feel like if it's presented and it's right, I think it makes for a good fight. Stylistically, it makes for a good fight for both of us.
Now, obviously, there's so many fighters who like to go on social media. Everybody seems like they're jockeying for this coveted title of the face of boxing. You know what I mean? I'm the best guy out there right now. You know, like, you know, when you think of all the guys out there at any weight I'm talking about, you know, is there definitively somebody right now who you think of as the face of boxing?
That's a good question. It's hard to say, but I guess I'm going with Terrence Crawford.
Yeah.
I'm going with Bud. I'm just going with Bud mainly because he kind of was the one that he in a way he's kind of been the one that kind of took the reign with the Sheik, with Turkey Sheik, him make him an ambassador. He's kind of been consistent. He's just been consistent throughout his career, and yeah, I'll probably go with Bud right now for American. You know, I would go with Bud. Of course, Usyk is in there, but you know, it's different.
And do you like Bud's chances? Now, I've had a lot of fighters on here who have said if there's any fighter that could go up to 168 and beat Canelo, if there's anyone that could do it, it would be Bud. You know what I mean? A lot of guys have said that on there. Do you believe that, or do you believe it's a little too tall of an order?
Nah, I think it's going to be an order in which is realistic because I mean, I always say this, and I just think about boxing sports. When Canelo fought Kovalev, that was not Kovalev.
Right.
But nobody really said when Canelo fought Kovalev, that was not a focused prime hey, you supposed to win this fight, Kovalev. That was not go win the fight. That wasn't Kovalev. He was not boxing at all. Even if you're not in shape, you're gonna box somewhat like yourself. He didn't box like himself at all in that fight. But Coley, he took the fight in 2-day notice. He wasn't in shape, but you saw kind of the Bacoli in him. He just couldn't take a shot because he wasn't training to get hit.
Right.
So Terrence Crawford, yeah, because I don't think putting weight on is ever going to be an issue. I don't think that's like the issue. I just think he gonna be good by that time. You got 6 months to get your weight up, and you're not gonna lose skill. You know what I mean?
Most guys are happy to have that problem, being able to put on the weight.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, come on now. He just got to put the weight. That's why Canelo did it. Canelo did it. Come on, you don't got to drain down and kill yourself and all that. But I guess we get to see how Canelo looks against Skull, if that's who he's fighting next.
Yeah, it is.
And I just feel like we've seen more Canelo than Crawford. So Crawford is prime for Crawford to win because he's been able to study Canelo longer than Canelo can study him.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
I just
Now what about this fight you've got coming up on March 22nd? Now, like, let's focus on that. First of all, if people want to tap in and watch it, man, like, did you have details on that? Like, where to go?
I don't have any details on that yet. I haven't even asked. I'm just
Okay.
I haven't even asked.
Well, you'll share them. I'm sure you'll share them on your Facebook. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
yeah. I'll post it.
I'll make sure that I share them on mine as well. But when you've been doing it for as long as you have, you know, I mean, what's the process like? Obviously, you're training, you're in camp, you're getting into shape or whatever. But how much do you look at like what this guy brings to the table? You know what I mean? Like, are you somebody that watches, you know, film or watches past fights of these guys?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
But I look at it like this: like, all right, I just fought Michael Hunter. He's a mover. He's a boxer, and I wasn't even close to myself as far as how I felt in the ring. I just felt like, all right, if he's going to stop me, he's going to have to step on the gas to do it. He's going to have to come out and really do it and take a chance of doing it. And I'll take one chance before I fucking drain out.
Yep.
And to try to get him, but he did smart. He just pot shot it and moved and pot shot it, and he did smart. So I figure like this: if I went through that, if I could go through that for 10 rounds, it's going to be hard to deal with me making sure that I'm right. And God got to move away from me the whole time because he's probably the best mover I've ever boxed in boxing. Like as far as touching and getting up out of there, like crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to this opportunity with this guy and this being mindful that most guys are going to try to like score and move out the way now. You know what I mean? Nobody's really trying to stand in there and punch with me. So I sparred him before. You know, we had a decent sparring session. It was cool. And you know, he's a live dog. You know what I mean? He's a dog, but I just think I'm in really good shape and I got 3 weeks to go.
And now, because you've got the sports background, the athletic background, do you feel like when you eventually do hang the gloves up and you're done actively fighting, do you feel like you'll always have a place in sports? Like, what will you do afterwards? Do you feel like you'll get into the promotion or the training aspect of boxing? Do you feel like it'll always be part of your life and that you'll stay in athletics?
Yeah, easy. Whether it's basketball, whether it's boxing, easy. Well, I think one of the main things when it comes to boxing would be the fact that I have the ability to treat fighters right.
Yes.
If I wanted to go in that route of managing, if I wanted to go in the route of promoting, like be honest and fair with them, but you can treat them right. Like you don't have to do all the little like the snaky and you don't have to do all of that because everybody can make money. It just now you might make less if you're doing it right, if you're trying to do fighters right, but you can all just make money and you could have arguably the greatest roster ever. You know, Don King could have had the greatest. He could have been probably the greatest promoter ever, like legit ever.
Oh
if
yeah.
he did the fighters right. But there's a want to be the star, even though you already got stars. You know?
Well said.
So
yeah.
It's like, I mean, that's what in my opinion, nobody likes to talk about it because he don't talk. He's not out. Al Heyman. He's made guys millions, but he's kind of like in the background.
Mystical. Yeah.
But
He is.
you know, he's a billionaire probably. He's probably,
Oh yeah.
you know what I mean? But he's made superstars. He's made guys millionaires. And but Don King, man, he could have had Tyson. He had Tyson like Ali, Holyfield probably.
And he did a lot of these guys wrong.
And he did them wrong, but you could have had the greatest story, the greatest walk away story that could have ever been.
Instead, Don King's legacy is always going to be he's going to be looked at as kind of a crooked dude.
Yeah, always going to be tarnished. You know, it's always going to be tarnished no matter what. And he does possess the ability to make you feel like be like, damn, Don, you look out. But then there's also that ability where it's like, come on, man, you still on that stuff again? You still,
I know.
like, y'all still on that type of time? So it's really, really tricky because he could have had like arguably the greatest like story one of the greatest American stories ever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy to see.
And now, before I let you out of here, because at the time of this recording this episode, it is March 1st, and we know that everything on the internet stays on the internet, and we see how well it ages. So since I got you on here, and it just so happens to be a Saturday fight night, prediction on Tank Davis and Lamont Roach tonight. And then, of course, we'll see how well this holds up.
Damn.
Now, remember, Cassius, the internet is forever. So what you say here.
Mine sometimes says draw because that's the way I go, but I'm going Tank 1 through 6.
Yeah. So he'll get it done somewhere.
And I like Lamont Roach, but I also think that he's coming to fight, and Tank might counter him in between the shots.
Yeah,
that's why I say 1 through 6. But I do think it's going to be a banger. I won't be surprised if this is one of Tank's hardest fights.
I think so too. Yeah, and a lot of people are thinking that same thing, man. You know, I mean, they've got history. They've known each other a long time. I think this is the one opponent that really, really knows Tank the best. You know what I mean? Like really knows his tricks and what he does inside there. You know what I mean? This is a guy, you know, who I think has done more studying and really knows more up here about Tank than a lot of people give him credit for.
It has pedigree. Yep, it has pedigree. Yeah, he has pedigree, and it's weird because he has the quickness to kind of keep up probably with him. I think Tank knows it, but I think if he's too aggressive early, Tank has the chance to catch him with something he don't see.
And this is not a guy too, man, who's like leaps and bounds above him. Like they came up in the amateurs together and they were literally like 1 and 2 all the time. You know what I mean? You know, so this is a guy that's been like right there on Tank's level for a long time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I'm pumped up for your fight, man. I always love having you on here and chopping it up with you, man. You're one of my favorite guests, man. I wish you a lot of luck, man. And as soon as you got some details, man, shoot them out to me. I can share them on my Facebook page, man.
Perfect. I got you. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. And Lakers in 5.
Lakers in 5. Lakers in 5.
With Luka now? Oh, it's over.
Oh man, so you're already going on record already. We're not even in June yet, and you're already predicting the NBA Finals.
Yeah, Lakers coming out the West. Lakers gonna win it this year.
So tell me what kind of a chance you give my team. I'm in upstate New York, and I'm a diehard Knicks fan. When I think we have a good squad this year.
Y'all have a decent 5.
We do.
Y'all have no bench.
I know. That is what. And I didn't like the fact that we just came back from the All-Star break and we had to play the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Celtics because I thought, you know, we're the 3 seed. I want to see what we're going to do against these teams in front of us. And we got fucking crushed in both games. It's disheartening, you know?
Yeah, you know who's going to give y'all problems if y'all end up coming across them? Obviously, Boston and Cleveland at the top. Yeah. But somebody that can give y'all a problem is Orlando if they get in the playoffs.
Yep.
And Milwaukee, because Milwaukee, if they get in there smoothly, because they should get in there, but you know they struggling right now. But if Milwaukee gets in there, they could be a problem too.
But I'm happy with our starting 5 though, man. I mean, I love the backcourt of Brunson and Bridges, man. I love I love Josh Hart. The guy's like a triple-double every fucking night almost. I love that we got Karl Anthony Towns. I really love OG. OG's my guy, man. I love that dude.
OG probably is one of the most important players. I think he's gonna be on any team.
Yeah, he just quietly goes about his job.
Yeah, he just does his job. He don't really have any real ties. He just doing his job. But I don't know why y'all ain't making any moves to get a bench, like a better bench.
I agree. Yeah, I agree, man. We let that opportunity fucking pass us by, man. I mean, we got a couple of nice spark plugs, man. You know what I mean? Like Deuce McBride. You know, we got a couple of guys that can come in and light it up. You know, Cameron Payne. We got a couple of guys, man. But what we don't have coming off the bench is any guys with size. Although Mitchell Robinson came back yesterday, though, man.
Oh yeah. Y'all need him back. Y'all need him back for Cat. But man, I don't. You know, I like Cat, but I don't understand why the Knicks. Well, I understand why the Knicks would do it. The Wolves would give up Cat after y'all just got to the conference finals this year.
And I was a little worried when we got Cat too, man, because Cat in the past when he was out west, man, with Minnesota, man, me and my son had this conversation. He could sometimes be a little soft, but I think he realized when he came to New York City, man, that we expect him to be banging them boards and getting in there and getting down and dirty, and he's been doing it. He's been a little more aggressive.
He's been more aggressive, but his game, he wants to shoot threes, and because he can fill it up if you get hot.
Yeah, he can. Yeah,
but it's like weird because like, man, you just went to the conference finals last year.
I know. I know.
That's a good pickup for y'all, but you see the NBA's doing that. Like they moving stars, they trying to get stars to those big markets, and that's why the Lakers got Luka. So
yeah. And that move puzzled a lot of people, man. You know what I mean? A lot of people didn't see that coming, man, because you just don't trade a guy like Luka.
That owner, he a Lakers fan. Come on.
Move of the year. Yeah. I mean,
why would you do it? Why would you trade your star to the Lakers if you're not a Lakers fan? That makes no sense.
Yeah, I agree. Well, hey, listen, man, you made some bold predictions here, man. Got Tank 1 through 6, and we're gonna see how well this ages come June, man. Lakers in 5, man. Woo!
Lakers in 5, man. Yeah. Lakers in 5. LeBron playing a 4, and another 4 can't keep up with him on the break.
The guy's not aging. He's not aging.
He first team this year too. If they don't put him on first team this year, the NBA, what we talked about, is rigged.
He's like the Benjamin Button of basketball players. Yeah, he's not getting old.
And honestly, it's between. Look, let's be honest. If it's not LeBron, if it's not Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, LeBron's second up the MVP voting.
Without a doubt. Yeah.
No doubt. Come on, no doubt.
Well, listen, brother, I love talking to you, man.
Thank
you. For sure, keep in touch, man. We'll do this again, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So I'll keep you updated. I'll give you the tag or the link when I find out what it is for the fight.
Sounds good. And I wish you the best of luck, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you. You too.
Keep talking to you, Cassius. We'll talk again, brother.
Thank you. Stay safe.
Later.
Peace.
There he goes, folks. The big man himself, Cassius CHANEY, man. 23-2, 16 knockouts, man. Another big heavyweight on the come up. At least I hope he is, man, because I really would like to see some good things coming that young man's way, man. He deserves it, man. Just a good dude, man. I hope he gets his shot, man. I hope he gets some big fights here coming up, man. And he gets a title shot. Ultimately, would be awesome, man. But he does have a fight coming up, and when I get more details, I will share them on the Off the Couch Boxing Facebook page, which I will get to in a second because you need to be there tapping in, man. But his next fight is March 22nd. At the time of this recording, it is March 1st. We got Tank and Lamont Roach tonight, so 3 weeks from today, Cassius CHANEY will be going up against Junior Anthony Wright, and I have no doubt my man Cassius will take that fight, man, for sure, man. And he did drop Huey Fury's name in there somewhere. So that might be a fight coming on down the road, too. We will see, man. But always love chopping it up with Cassius, man. Have had him on the show before, man. Great guest, man. Great dude, man. And want to thank him for coming on here and wish him all the best in a couple weeks with his fight, man. And I want to remind all you guys, if you're watching right now, of course, like, subscribe, and smash that notification button to stay tapped into the most amazing and real boxing conversations anywhere on the planet. Right here, we are the undefeated, undisputed champion of boxing podcasts. And with that being said, let me remind you that if you also want to be a champion, you got to make sure that you are rolling with the champs. Peace.